if we want to talk about something big that happened this past week, we now have our official first piece of footage from the show, and that is the Ruby Dagger. So, Wad on Prime, their Twitter account has been releasing little snippets along the way, right? We got to see Emmons Field with that little, line from Tom. We got to see Tom's guitar. We've seen the Heron Mark blade. We've seen some concept art. And now we have our first piece of actual footage, which is, I'm presuming, Matt grabbing the dagger in Shadar Logoth. So what do you guys think? What did you think about it? Did it look like how you've kind of envisioned it? As we start with you, what did you think about seeing that?
Well, yeah, I was blown away. It's been about the same length as the audio teaser we got, and a couple of the things with Tom and the kind of the reel with the guitar and things. So same length, very short. Let's make a deal. And it looks cool. It was cool to hear Matt's voice. That's Matt's voice, right? I mean, so I really liked it. I was kind of shocked that dropped. I mean, obviously I want more, but I mean, it looks cool. It looks like well lit, well done. I mean, ominous, very ominous, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's a big deal. I really like it. Jimmy, what'd you think?
So, when I made my way through Eye of the World, when I'm going on this journey, with the crew from the farm, from Emmons Field, it's just, there's so many good examples of things that I want to see adapted, right? Like things that I pictured in my head. I'm like, I can't wait to see that on screen. And I feel like the very first big moment was this. I was like, I could see this playing out on screen. To get just a little clip of this is so exciting, no matter how short it is, because with the clips building and the teasers and whatnot, feels like we're building to something very big, very special. And I thought even just the stone structure that we saw was excellent, right? I think that even the styling of it, the lighting, it all just feels like has, meticulous details thought of. And that is so important when you're adapting something that people just love. And for this to be one of the scenes that I was looking, forward to the most when we come to the first book, I was very excited. It's the most excited I've ever been about a 14-second video ever.
Right.
Yeah. And so, right. He finds the dagger. It's in a box. It looks gold. I'm assuming just from the picture, and it's got that ruby in it, and that ruby's kind of bright almost, which is kind of which is kind of cool. But I think we can imagine the show's obviously going to have its own spin on it, but again, we've talked about this where we think this will take place. I think I'm leaning a little more. I think we were both kind of saying this is probably episode 2, Shadar Logoth. I think roughly seems like. Because I think episode 1, going with some of the titles we have, the Trolloc attack, they leave. I think and then that means we'd probably hit Shadar Logoth about episode 2. So you can just imagine Matt, right, finding this dagger and then the world of trouble we're about to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's interesting? So since we're on that point, I have been thinking, and I saw the clip. And we did a few YouTube videos on how we think we're going to, tackle the Eye of the World in season 1. But after seeing that, I really rethought this. And I think, you might spend a lot more time there than I realized. If you're going to make a big set in this big ominous place and you're trying to get away from, like, they might actually spend some time there talking about, the power or the wheel, or like Moraine could tell them a few things. I mean, maybe just more than what we get in the book. And I thought, like even build up before the boys kind of sneak off and they get the dagger. Yeah. There's some stuff going on before, some storytelling, getting to know the characters, just more. And why not? You got the set, you're making it, you're building up to be this really big moment, and it's going to be one of the things that really sticks in our mind. I don't know. I think it's gonna be more significant than I thought. We had the concept art, right? We saw that concept art where, they're kind of walking through. Looks like Shadar Logoth, right? It's got the Mashadar, kind of the fog moving through, and looks pretty scary. So it's a big moment. It's a really big moment. I mean, it's big in the books. I guess I just, when we were going over initially, Matt, I was thinking, all right, yeah, it'll be an episode or whatever. There might be more to it. Like one episode we might end getting there, spend a whole episode there, and then pick up there even in the beginning of a third episode, getting out, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I the way I'm kind of envisioning it is, so episode 1, Trollocs attack, and we leave, right? They have to leave, and so I'm thinking maybe episode 2. This is kind of my thought. Is episode 2 is it starts with them, they're on the road, and clearly they've been on the road. It starts off, but you can kind of tell they've been on the road for a bit. We find ourselves in Shadow Logos. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna rest. What was that? Like, what was the Trolloc attack? Like. And then Moraine will finally start to give some answers. And then you're kind of there and they're kind of camping out, like, don't go too far.
Right.
You got to stay together kind of a thing. And then Matt's off doing who knows what. And then he finds it. And then I think it's probably them escaping is probably the rest of the episodes, action packed. Okay. It's them running, escaping. Like, you could totally change the way a lot of it happens to make it more adaptable for TV. Think like Harry Potter, right? I mean, Harry Potter, The Goblet of Fire, the movie, whereas like, a big portion of the movie, which is this whole book, is Harry versus the dragon, right? I mean, that's a scene that in the book it's like a chapter, but in the movie, it's one big, massive scene right in the middle, action packed, keep everybody involved. Because you need that in television. You need to expand a lot of action scenes to kind of emphasize points. So I think that's probably what's going to happen here. So I'm with you. It's either I think episode 2, but it could maybe be episode 3. Maybe episode 2 we're just on the road. A lot of it's on the road, and then we get there, or maybe we are there for more than an episode, as you say, as.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just it stuck out to me that it's going to be we're going to spend a good amount of time there. I don't know, Jimmy. What are you thinking? Like timing wise, like
Yeah, I think episode. I'm kind of with you, Matt. I think episode 2 makes the most sense, and I think it's a fairly safe assumption that we'd be spending an entire episode there. I do feel like what we saw there with Matt taking the blade. Just knowing what happens in the books, I wonder if that's how an episode will end, and then we'll pick up the next week with figuring out why that's a bad thing, right? So maybe we get like a full episode there, or at least getting there, and then we see them, coming into the conflict and then leaving Shadow Logoth then. So I think it's safe to say at least an episode there.
Yeah. Mordeth?
Yeah,
I was waiting. I was watching that. I was like, are we gonna pan up and see him, just greedily, like looking like, take the dagger. I mean,
Maybe
I could feel him. I could feel him right around, hovering around, moving around. Let's make a deal. I mean, you could sense it. Like, it was just cool. Everything about that little tiny clip, knowing who is standing right in that room is kind of a big deal. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So
hey, leave us some comments, shoot us an email, let us know what you guys think about it, because it might be a while before we see some more fun.